Welcome to Whole Summer's Distribution. Today I have the pleasure and privilege of introducing an interview with Stephanie Beacham. Welcome.
Hello, hello. Lovely to be with you.
And I also have the pleasure of her assistant, Emily Daniels, who's here helping me today. We're going to do some questions.
The best.
That's true. We're going to do some questions and some show and tell. It's going to be an interesting day. So first, from Adam to Hama, how would you compare the character you played in Connie and the Colbys, and which one is closer to the real Stephanie?
Oh, Adam, that's a good question. Okay. Ron Hutchinson, who wrote Connie, the premise was, can a businesswoman without money and without connections make it in Thatcher's England? And the answer was probably no, because there was nobody more conniving and hardworking and like a little fox than Connie was. Sable was a different creature. She already had the dosh, she already had the money, but she wanted the power. Are either of them like me? No, I can recognize them both, but I don't think either of them are like me. I think probably Connie's grit is something that I associate with. And I had been very, very ill when I did Connie. I'd been really ill, and I decided to recover on it because I thought there was nobody more spunky, more fabulously ambitious for life than Connie was, and I thought it was a brilliant one to mend on. And then of course to be Sable Colby in the 80s was like saying, hey, I'm wearing the poster, I am the poster. I'm just grateful for both of them, and I don't know how much either of them I am like, but I guess I have absorbed both of them in me, so I guess watch out, really.
Okay, I've been warned. All right, our next question is from Hinsley Craig A. What's the biggest difference from working in the US and working in the UK? You have feature roles in either side of the ocean, Dynasty, SeaQuest, Hammer Horror, and the wonderful Connie series, etc. What are your thoughts as an actor? Is the process the same, or are the preparations quite different?
Preparations are no different, except in a series, it's easier to talk about television series as far as the differences are concerned. Because in an English series, you will have them all written ahead of time. And so you can read from start to finish and make sure it cross-checks like a good haircut. Whereas in America, you know your character, you know the other people around you, and then you start on a roller coaster because you've no idea. You do 26 episodes in a season, and you have, say, 4 or 5 writers, sometimes 12 writers writing it. In England, generally, it's a much smaller team, and you've got the first 6 episodes, which is a normal season in England, before you start. So in that way, it's very different. But you know, crews are the same the world over. They are your friends. They are just, you know, they're the people, you know, you're onto it, you're doing a scene well, when everybody sort of gathers round and you feel an amazing silence, not because a bell has rung, but you hear a silence that you get energy from. Crews are great, and crews are the same the world over, apart from in Italy, when it doesn't matter if you're a lighting person or a sound person, you will have an opinion about what the cinematographer is doing. Everybody seems to have a fabulous different opinion. But England and America, everybody knows their job. They pull to and they do it.
Great. That is wonderful. All right. Patrick Pack Mayhem has asked, did you have high
Sorry.
hopes? The person who asked, his name is Patrick Pack Mayhem, asked, did you have high hopes for Sister Kate? I'm sorry, what did you say?
Pat, I said mayhem. That's a great word.
Oh, it is. It is.
Pat, did I have great hopes for Sister Kate? Yes, I did. I had great hopes for Sister Kate. Was I sorry that it didn't go on? No. I loved Sister Kate, and it was... I don't know how far I can say into... I didn't like how the children were necessarily treated, not on stage, but I feel that there's a terrible pressure put on child stars or child performers. And, well, there was one little person that I wanted to beat. Well, I would have wanted to, except I knew her father already was. That sort of thing, you know. Apart from Jason, my good friend, Mr. Priestley, who always turned up late, apart from Mr. Priestley, who was an adult, of course, one was dealing with fabulous people and parents. It was a very different experience, and I hadn't done it before, and it was an amazingly interesting thing to do, but only for the time I did it. I wasn't the slightest bit sorry when it went down, but I loved doing it. And I love that format. Oh my giddy aunt, do I like going in on a Monday, do the read through, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're learning your lines, Thursday you do a camera run, and Friday you do 2 performances. It's like the best of theatre with this, you know, short run and film. It's a heavenly schedule. I really loved that, in front of an audience on a Friday, but knowing what you're doing technically on the Thursday. It was just so, it was seat of your pants stuff, but it had a, oh, I don't know, you could just follow the lineage back to Lucille Ball, if you like. You know, that's when it all, how the Americans really know how to do that sitcom stuff with a studio audience.
Oh, that's awesome. Great. Our next question is from ID Rice 91. What kind of character would you like to play? Is there any movie or TV franchise you'd like to join?
Oh boy. Who? I think probably, it's a shame that Game of Thrones has come down, because I wouldn't mind sort of wrapping up in a few furs and being evil there. I don't know. I think suddenly some opportunity will come along, and then I'll fall in love with it, whatever it is that's going on at this moment. There's so much good stuff being made. There is so much good. Is this the golden age or what? Oh, yeah. With all the different high budget stuff. So no, nothing in particular, but I will enjoy joining a new family, whatever that is, when it happens, when we can all be doing it again.
That would be awesome. All right, our next one, and then we're going to take, I think, a little show and tell break. So Sally Campbell, 23, do you prefer drama or comedy? One of your TV memories of Connie in which you were exceptional in, but later, as I've appreciated how good a comedy series actress you are.
Oh, well, thank you very much indeed. That's Sally, yes? Thank you, Sally. Oh, I always think that if you know how to do comedy, You've got your, I don't know how to say this politely. I'm afraid I call it a shit detector. You've got your shit detector out. Because what happens is that you know when it's hokey, when you're doing drama and it's hokey, you just think, nah, come on, you approach this differently. And it's because you've got an inbuilt understanding of what can be funny. Do you see what I mean? So the better you are at comedy, when you turn your hand to drama, it perhaps is more real. So in other words, they use different muscles, and it all adds up to being a better performer.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm going to ask Emily to get one of your lovely dresses, and we'll have a little show and tell.
Oh,
Because, you know, you've worn some beautiful costumes over the years, and you've been able to keep, how have you been able to keep some of them?
I didn't want them. I used to rip my clothes off and be so thrilled not to be wearing 5-inch. Oh, look at that pretty dress. Do you know, that doesn't look like it's got a tiny waist, but I assure you, when it's pulled in, that's a tiny waist. Have you got a photograph of me in that? Probably you do have somewhere.
There. Yeah.
They were an odd little pair of things. They look enormous. They're not enormous.
Oh, they're tiny.
That dress I love very much. It's got a shushy sound when you're wearing it. Doesn't annoy the sound people, but it's got a lovely shushy sound. And I have worn that at film premieres as well as very, very happily on Dynasty. Or was it the Colbys? I think it was the Colbys.
Okay.
I think it was the Colbys.
And who was the designer?
Oh, that's Nolan Miller. Nobody but Nolan. Nolan was amazing. He used to get there at 6 o'clock in the morning and do the hems for you. I mean, he was, what a wonderful designer and what a lovely man. Such humility. He was so talented. He really understood each of our bodies and would design for them.
All right, from lead in to, hi, Stephanie. If you could pick one of, yes, that's his username.
I see.
Yeah, that's why they're so odd. Hi, Stephanie. If you could pick one of your movies to experience filming again, which one would it be?
If I could experience making it again, I guess I would definitely make The Nightcomers with Marlon Brando again. But this time I wouldn't I'd be better at doing the dubbing, the looping, the post sound. I didn't know how to do it then. And to my mind, I kind of ruined the whole performance with that. And I'd give anything to see Marlon again.
Yeah, what was he like? I mean, you hear stories, but was he easy to work with, or was he giving in scenes?
A dreamboat. A lovely man. When he looked at you, you were X-rayed. You were X-rayed. When I say he was an animal, I mean that in the very wildest, most noble sense. When he looked at you, you told the truth.
Wow.
He was not, he just had it. Some people do, that they deserve the truth. And he's also had a very naughty sense of humor and a very silly man. I mean, he was capable of, he was a full human being. Loved him, a friend till the end.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, our next question from DVR. What are some of your favorite moments during the filming of Dracula A.D. 1972?
Oh, well, that was nothing but fun from beginning to end, Eve. So I don't know how I'm going to choose just one or two moments. I made some very good friends on that, including Marsha Hunt. Marsha Hunt and I just got on like a house on fire. And I went my first time to America with Marsha and visited her family and visited everybody and had the most extraordinary experience. I don't know what the current terms are allowed to be, but I was the honky rep. That's what we called me. I was the honky rep for her, visiting her, Black America. It was a very, very extraordinary thing to do in the very early 70s.
Wow.
So Christopher Lee, how can I say what the wonder of it all? He was so funny playing Dracula. This is the most difficult acting you could ever do. And I just thought, well, just put your teeth in, love, and you're there. You know, I wasn't very respectful about it, but we had fun. And Peter Cushing is one of the dearest, sweetest men you could ever, ever, ever meet. So how lucky I was. But I didn't know that they asked for me when they did the second one of the sort of AD 72. And Joe Lovely did it. And I had been asked to do it and I wasn't even told.
Oh.
My agent had decided that I should do it. So I didn't even have a repeat of a fun game. But that was a fun game. That was a fun game.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's too bad that they didn't talk to you about that. All right, from Howie Raven.
Well, I met the director in the elevator at the BBC, and I said, "Hi, how lovely to see you." And he looked at me, said, "I don't know how you can even talk to me like that." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You turn down the movie and then you greet me as if you're thrilled to see me." I said, "What? What do you mean?" And I really didn't know.
Oh. That's it. Yeah, it happens, but it's a shame.
Well, only half a shame. At the time, it was going to be something that everybody would remember me for. I signed more of those blonde-wigged Jessica Van Helsing people than anything else. You know, it was fun, but it's strange how some things last and other things fade away. You know, it's really weird.
Well, it's sort of like your Star Trek role. I bet when you signed on to do the Next Generation episode, you never thought the Contessa would be so popular.
Is she? Oh, that's nice.
Well, I think she is. I mean, a lot of people talk to me about her, about that.
She was a lovely. That was a very refreshing role. It was fun, wasn't it? She was so thrilled. I think she wore trousers, didn't she, at one point, and she thought that was the bee's knees.
Yes, it's awesome. All right, from Howie Ravner. Loved your book and make everyone I work with now stand on a box.
Howie, are you a girl or are you a boy? Howie, I don't know. Anyway,
Don't know.
Look. I mean, I would have to get down. I'd have to do it there versus that. I can't see, but it definitely is, and that's what Ava Gardner taught me. That because I didn't know why Ava Gardner put me on a box. I said, why? And she showed me how you looked when you looked down and how you looked when you looked up.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, our next question from Desto76, I don't know. With the Colbys turning 35 this November, hard to believe that you look this amazing as you did then. What are some of the favorite lines or insults you dished out on the show?
I do not remember one of them. I don't remember a single line. I have learned so many lines in my time. And the number of really extraordinarily long plays that I have learned since. And I don't remember any of them. But you always know when you've hit it right. You have a feeling when you've hit, turned and delivered. You know when you've hit it right. And I do remember the fun of some of that stuff. I really do. It was, I remember Catherine Ross, because we've been nattering about stuff, about, I always remember her daughter called Make Muck. And so we always talk about Make Muck now. And then we'd have action, and suddenly old Sable would come out, and Catherine would look quite shocked, it's because I turned. Good days. But sorry, don't remember a single line.
Okay, I understand. Okay, Tomfoolery 2011. Did you ever keep anything from the set of the Colbys or Dynasty as a keepsake? I think we have some show and tell to go with these.
Well, maybe, but the most important thing was I bought the ring cushion that when John James and Emma Sams got married, when Jeff and Fallon got married, there was a ring cushion. And I went to the props boys and said, can I buy that ring cushion? And they said, yeah, sure. How much was it? Well, $10, whatever. I bought the ring cushion. And then I was going to a huge charity dinner in Hong Kong, as you do. And I took the ring cushion, and it raised $75,000 for charity.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
That is,
yeah. It's wonderful that you can do that. And then I believe Emily has some.
Which outfit would you like me to show?
Which one got? Is this what is this? This is Dynasty we're talking about.
Well,
Colbys.
Dynasty or Colbys, either one. Either one.
That wasn't a Colbys. That was a girl called Harry.
Oh.
That I met in Germany. That's just sort of like the ubiquitous white jacket. That's just sort of the white jacket you have to have. I haven't got a clue where I wore that. I think I'd still fit that though. I think I would.
It's very nice. It's got lace insets. It's very pretty. She's getting the jewelry.
Oh, I think
There we go.
Very helpful.
Amethyst jewelry.
The amethyst jewelry?
Oh, that's Miss. Okay, so I had, yes, that they are from the Colbys, and I wore that with the purple dress that we've already seen. In the morning, my hands are here, but I'd have to go twice as wide so that in the morning, and it stood up as high as this, enormous. And it was full of jewelry. And I used to just pull open a little drawer and say, I think that would go with that, wouldn't it? I mean, Sable had so much stuff, very nice stuff as well.
I mean, she was one of the richest fictional people at the time, I mean.
Yeah, as I kept saying, do I really have to wear 5-inch heels? If I were as rich as this woman was, I think I'd wear a lot of jewelry and flat shoes.
Or 1-inch, 2-inch, save yourself. Wow. But yeah, the jewelry, it's stunning. Hopefully it showed in the picture, but yeah, it's just.
Well, my hair people have said, "Oh, you don't wear your hair like you did in the Colbys," and I say, I'd like to, but unfortunately, Barbara Ronci doesn't step out of my wardrobe in the mornings. Barbara Ronci was the most extraordinarily talented ever. And in the morning, I'd say, "What am I going to look like today?" "Well, what are you wearing?" She had her creation hour, and she said, "I don't create this. Your hair tells me it's going." And she and my hair would commune, and boy, did I have some good styles.
That's some stunning
Yeah.
photos.
Yeah. Couldn't
Okay.
do them by yourself.
My hair never looks that good. I admit it. What about you? All right, from Ken Morrison. Hello, Stephanie. After the
Hello.
after the 1980s wore off and the depressing 90s were in full swing, SeaQuest came along, giving us all a welcome distraction and hope for the future. Is there anything you can share with us from your time on the show that has stayed with you since then?
Many things. SeaQuest, Roy Scheider always said, "Where is Steven Spielberg? Where is Steven Spielberg? Why isn't Steven here?" And then Steven did turn up, and it was lovely to see him, but he was distracted. And it was only when we saw the film that he had been making, that he had wrung his soul out in Poland, that we realized why he wasn't on the set of SeaQuest, because SeaQuest must have seemed just so inconsequential compared with what he was doing.
Wow. Interesting. What? Well, you worked with Roy. How was he? Was he giving in a scene, or? I mean, he seems like he was,
Roy was
very
terrific.
old school.
Very old school and very good, and a good sense of humor. He no, he was a good captain. End of story.
Okay.
And a nice. He's so funny. He used to call me Dr. Crestfallen, because he could tell that some of the time that I didn't enjoy bits and pieces, and that was his name for me, Dr. Crestfallen, not Westphalen.
Well, what about Jonathan Brandis on SeaQuest? How was he?
That was a real typical child actor tragedy, really, because he was a darling boy. And of course, we thought, and he thought, that his life would go on to more starring roles and he would become a famous actor. But he hit fame at just too young and on that cusp period that he didn't have time to turn into a director or a producer. I mean, you look at Ron Howard and people like that who were very young child actors, and then they thought, "Oh, I don't think I'm going to quite do this acting as well as I thought I would. And anyway, how interesting is this and how interesting is that?" So Jonathan didn't quite, he was just too old. He thought he wanted to do acting, and it was a tragedy, really.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Our next one, hopefully I get the name right, is from David William Acta.
You realize that the film that Spielberg was making was Schindler's List.
I did, but
That's
thank you for sharing.
That reason that how could he have bothered? When he was watching the dailies of SeaQuest, how could he have bothered with them when he was having to look at the dailies of Schindler's List? I mean, it's so understandable. I'd like to work with him again. Okay, Stephen? I'd like to work with you, please.
Hear that, Mr. Spielberg, please? All right. Our next guy, David William Akbar. What is your favorite episode of SeaQuest DSV to film, and how did it influence your future acting?
Okay. The episode that I saw that I liked was all in the favelas of some South American town. When I saw it, I thought it was the best episode. At the time, I thought it was a rather muddled piece of work. You know, you mustn't think you understand what your director is doing sometimes. Maybe it's best if you ask, and it's even nicer if they tell you. But sometimes they have a vision that is, I regret not knowing and therefore not enjoying more what to me was one of the most interesting episodes. I could do without all that talking dolphin stuff. I used to find that a little trying. And I've got a few regrets about that show. I think I should have looked less sort of tight. But hey, it was what it was. We did what we did, and lucky old me. I mean, how many people get to, you know, go to work in sneakers and be a doctor when they've just been the richest woman in the world, and they've also been a nun running a, you know, whatever she was running. Lucky, aren't I?
Yes, I think so. That's awesome. All right, our next one. Bobby Allen Roach asks, would you be willing to reprise the role as Sable Colby in a web series social media presence based on her current life?
Would
you be willing to do Sable now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm able now. Joan and I have always talked about it. Why isn't she playing Alexis and me playing Sable, and these two old ladies are battling it out? Wouldn't that be funny? I mean, I could see them, supposing they'd both sort of lost their fortunes, but were still living just about in their penthouses in New York, you know what I mean? But avoiding the doorman because they didn't have the tip, you know, that sort of thing. I think we could have a hoot of a something, but we've never got it together. And these times are so strange, aren't they, Mary? I mean, these times are so strange. We're just lucky to have memories, let alone, you know, work at the moment.
Yeah, it's kind of dangerous.
Oh, sorry, performers. The young performers. The thing I feel, the people I feel the most sorry for are the people who are trying to learn their chops in the theatre, and there is no theatre going on. And their theatres are closing and may never open again. Regional theatres in England, you know, so many theatres, because you have to do a few plays. You've got to learn your chops somewhere. People think I jumped out of a box 40 years old to play Sable. I didn't. I'd been at the National Theatre, I'd been at the Royal Shakespeare Theatre, I'd been every regional theatre there was. That's why I knew how to do it.
Yeah, and people don't realize the work that goes in for actors to do plays and all that week after week to build that, to be ready for TV. Because you can tell, I mean, there's some TV actors that it's like, have you ever acted before? You know, so yeah, it's gonna hurt, I think, future productions.
A lot of, I find it very hard to hear, not just in loudness terms, not just because I'm completely stupidly deaf, which I am, but I don't think they speak clearly enough. I think that some of the diction is very poor, and older actors seem to have much clearer diction. There's a terrible sort of whispering that goes on, and I can't hear it. And then, excuse me, when did we start having to have music all the time over everything?
Yeah, it's too distracting.
You feel that? I find it too distracting. I want to know if the story's good enough. Don't tell me what I should be feeling. I'll be feeling it. Don't play the violins behind it.
Okay, you're allowed.
What?
No, I agree, and it's here in America too. A lot of the little theaters are disappearing, and it's sad. It's very sad.
Oh, how can comedians get their get their fabulous stuff going? You need an audience. You need the theatre. You need to be doing it, 8 times a week and having fun and starving and doing everything else you're meant to do. And then you find the art of it, and then you've got the skill of it, and then you're a craftsperson, and you can enjoy a good life, but you gotta work it out.
Yeah, you can't
So-
just, I'm an actor. But yeah, I wish. All right, our next question from Leanna Redman. What's your favorite thing about working on Bad Girls?
Bad Girls. That's another show that was really fun. Amanda Barry and Amanda, we were the Costa Cons. Amanda Barry and I were so lazy. And I used to say, Amanda, because there'd be these huge scenes, and not our lovely scenes together, and we just about 4 of us, but we'd be all of us prisoners out in the thing, and I'd see the setup. And I'd say, Amanda, move left. Why? Don't ask me why, just move left. Enough? No, bit more. Bit more. Okay, we're out of shot. We won't be needed till after lunch. I used to do that a lot. Just simply, we weren't, obviously I wasn't if we were doing something important, but when it was just to sort of ooh-ah everybody, I used to get me and Amanda back to our dressing room, feet up, and listening to Radio 4, which is my preferred radio station, and Amanda's.
The honest truth.
Well, yes, you have it. Oh, and I wonder doing a series at the moment. A lot of very talented people on that show. There's a lot of talented people everywhere. It was a delightful thing to do. It was delightful, but nothing. It was fun, and I had a lovely, again, it's the crew, isn't it? And some lovely directors. So, I don't think I've told you anything special, but there you go, apart from avoiding being in a scene.
I'm surprised one of the cameramen didn't go, oh, they're sneaking off again and follow you guys.
What I was doing. I was trying to get out, if I had anything to say, they'd have said, they saw what I was doing. I just was seeing this setup. I mean, I can smell when I'm on camera at 80 paces,
No, I get it. Okay, and our final question from Richard Watts. Good morning, Stephanie. Well, good morning.
Hi,
Good afternoon to you. What are the memories of working on Hammer Films Dracula 1972 and Cluedo, I Love You in Both?
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Okay, memories. Elstree Studios, which is where we did Hammer, that's got a huge history. All these studios, I mean, it's so wonderful when you're walking in and you look up and you see the name Elstree Studios when you're in England, or oh, for heaven's sake, all of the studios in America, Paramount. I had a parking place at Paramount, had my own name on a parking space in Paramount Studios, and Elstree Studios then, it had all those years and years and years of black and white movies. So what you was invited to be part of movie history. And as a young actress you just glowed at the opportunity, at the gratefulness to be invited in, to be part of a whole trail of history. And there you have it.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was great. All right. We have more stuff to show, don't we?
We can. We've got SeaQuest stuff. And
Yeah, let's see
other
the SeaQuest stuff. We're gonna tell some SeaQuest stuff. Something
Okay.
about some shoes. I hear
Just
a
show
rumor
them-
you didn't like to wear those shoes.
Closer. Show them to me closer. Those are the ugliest shoes ever known to man. I refuse to wear them. I didn't wear them. I wore white ones.
Yeah. Well, gotta go with the sense of
There's
color.
nothing more fattening for a thigh than a pair of black shoes. Black shoes make your feet look tiny. If you've got big feet, for heaven's sake, wear black shoes. But black shoes make your feet look tiny. I would say my thighs should look tiny and wear white shoes. That's just a little thought. And those are very ugly.
I have to admit that those are not very flattering, but yeah. And then your badge from SeaQuest.
Oh, that's, total access SeaQuest. Yes, that's amazing. That's
Now,
amazing.
this was just for the show, right? It wasn't to get on set, right?
It wasn't to get on set, but I had that, I think, got me on all the rides at lunchtime. Where were we?
Universal.
Universal.
Yes. But and when I had friends visit me, I'd just say, hi, come on, quick, it's lunchtime, let's go, and go on, what was it? It was the fire one.
Backdraft.
Backdraft. No, she's deaf. Backdraft. Okay. Trouble is, backdraft, they put the fire out at some point, and the mist was really bad for my hair. I didn't care, but it did mean that it just went totally frizzy. And so they took my pass away and said, you're not allowed to go to backdraft anymore. You can't go through the gate and take your friends. So I could go on ET still. ET was okay, a nice little ride, but it wasn't as exciting as backdraft.
Yeah, backdraft was a great ride. Yeah.
Yeah, back for the hair. So there we are. The privilege of having a special pass to be able to go fast, because I had to get back. I had whatever I ate for lunch and then back to work. But it was bad for the hair, apparently.
Yeah, one that she told story.
Apparently, there's a story with the one she's showing.
Which she was telling us earlier.
Oh yeah, you started a little earlier about it.
That's navy blue and white, and that was designed by Bill Ballou, who was the wardrobe person on Sister Kate. I wore that little dress, not the spotty one, the little dress underneath it, which was a top and skirt on This Is Your Life. And then the coat, I remember so well. I did a Christmas parade. Me and and kids off Sister Kate did the Christmas parade with oh Lord, for heaven's sake, he's one of the most famous. Who's the most famous tap dancer? One of the naughty boys from Vegas. What's his name?
Sammy
Davis Jr.
Sammy Davis Jr. We were on a float with Sammy Davis Jr. Excuse me, but only in Hollywood. And I wore that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, he seems like he would have been great to have met. I wish I had met him.
Yes, all of them. I met Sinatra. I never met Dean Martin. I'd like to have done that. Oh look, there's a sweet little dress. That was from A Girl Called Harry, which was a sweet film that I made in Germany. That's actually, all these dresses look better on than they do sort of on some hanger.
We have
That's
some
got-
pictures we'll add at the end so that people can see them. So, yeah. Is that the last one?
I think that's all the dresses.
Okay. What else
Yeah.
do we have?
Photos.
There are just so many talented people in so many fields. I mean, all those frocks are made by craftspeople. I mean, real, I'm so admiring of so many of the people that at the moment are not working, who are just, I hope they're furloughed and I hope they're, managing to keep their homes. There are so many talented people.
Yeah. It's a hard time here in Los Angeles right now. I hear.
Oh, look at that. That is I think that was a Christmas present. That was a Christmas present. I think that's an alarm clock that they wanted us not to, to be able to wake up in the morning and get to work. That's so cute. That's cute, isn't it?
Yes, it's very cute. All right. So my last question, because we finished all the fan questions. Is there a question that you'd like to be asked that no one's ever asked you? You know? I got her thinking.
No, that I've not really. You know what I mean? I mean, why didn't I direct? Because I'm too fussy and I don't think I'd have been nice enough. I think that I would, the small amount of directing that I've done, I've realized that I have to change my, you can't just say to someone, look, that's rubbish, just do it again differently. That really isn't quite helpful, is it? Producing, I'm so bad at asking people for money. I don't think I could do that. So there's nothing that, I just think I've been incredibly lucky and continue to be. And I've had a very nice time for the last hour.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being with both of us today. We really appreciate it. And also, exciting news, I hear your website's going to launch today. So we'll put the link below so that they can check it out. That'll be awesome.
Okay. Just get someone to say goodbye to us all.
Okay, we can wait.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Very good. No, you saying goodbye?
Oh.
You don't want to walkies now. Do you want to walkies now? Do you?
Yeah, we always want walkies.